Hello again. We are back for a part 3. I decided to also show you how I'm going to clean up these elements, because these elements are going to be put onto the collage canvas as well. And actually, now that I see this, I do need to get some black paint. So, it's another project. Let's keep out the acrylic markers. We might need those too. Here's my black paint. This is so super old, but it still works. It always still works. And we need a cup of water. Let's see. Paintbrush. This one. No, let's use this one here. Alright. So these elements are going to be added to the canvas. So what we got here? We've got some wooden chipboard flag pieces. And I've got, these are from Altenew, scrapbook letters. That's for those. We got 2 hinges from a really old Sizzix, what are those things called? You know, the big foamy things you run through your embossing and cutting machine. We got some Valentine hearts, but of course they're not going to stay pink. I've got this little marquee thingy. Not marquee. Theater curtain. Just need to get some fussy cutting on that. Masquerade sign, fussy cutting on that. And then I got some fun ephemera. I wanted all the ones that said poison on them. And then this, I know you can't see, it's a little acetate thing with a skull and crossbones, but it'll be good to add some depth to these. So, oh, also we need to bring out our inks for these. Got our archival distresses. Okay, let's start with trimming these babies up. I'm not going to use my paper trimmer on this because if it's jaggedy or whatever, that's perfectly fine because it's going to be inked and it's supposed to be creepy anyways. These are just from some, these are so old. These are from some set of Halloween ephemera I've had forever. And these are flat, these are going to be flat elements on the canvas, so that's why we just need to antique them up a bit. So that one's trimmed. Those are ready for inking. This one's already got its own little funky edge, so that one's fine. Those are going to be inked up. Fussy cutting. Get out the snips for that. Alright. I've been pushing this guy around forever, so let's get him cut out. So when I fussy cut, I go into all the inset edges. I don't know what you call those, but it makes life easier. Then I go through and trim it out. I go one way around the thing. And then I will go the other way around the thing. And just as a tip, I use my fingers, my 2 fingers, or ring finger and pinky finger, to stabilize everything. And I also actually am putting my bottom of my scissor blade on my ring finger to help position it. Give me some control. Okay, now we can go the other way. See how I keep it right there? Got a little bit there to come off. Book. And book. Now it looks like somewhere along the way this got jacked up a little bit, so I gotta make that look like it was meant to happen. Okay, there's our little masquerade sign. Now we can do this one. I use my long scissors for that. I like to have the right tool for the right job. I have no idea where this came from. It's been ripped as well. And same thing as before, I'm going to just cut in to all of these insets. And here we go. And again, I'm going to be inking around the edges of this, so if I don't get all that little green bits off, that will be fine. Oop, oh, oh. There we go. Cool. We got our pieces all cut out. Get rid of all this stuff. You see now I have put down my messy mat here because we're gonna get messy. Okay. Let's start with these. I am going to come back in with my red alcohol marker. Now this is like balsa wood, so it will absorb really well the pigment from the alcohol markers, and I'm leaving them on their little backs here until I'm completely done with messing with them. And again, if you need help keeping things steady, I use my pinky a lot to hold myself straight. I do have some neuropathy issues and arthritis sometimes. Today feels like it's one of those days. So I am definitely using my pinky here to support my hand using the marker. I've been pushing these around forever too. I couldn't tell you where they came from. I just found them in my stash. And I know I was never going to use them unless I did something like one of my collage canvases. So now to those are going to get these letters. And they're going to get glued down as well because, again, I don't want these to pop off when someone gets this. You know what? I better get a handy wipe for that. It's getting messy. There we go. All right, so this is going to say boo. Take the B. I mean, they're really good and sticky, but again, I don't want these coming off on somebody. Okay. I'm going to set these aside under an acrylic block to make sure that they adhere really well. All right, so we're done with these. Next, let's edge and ink up our ephemeras here. I have so much glue on my fingertips, I literally cannot pick up anything. That's great. Okay, set those off to the side to dry. I'll do the brown on all of these. Well, yeah. Now these are paper. The thing that I just edged was acetate, so that's why I set it aside to dry up, but these dry immediately because the paper absorbs the pigment once the alcohol is absorbed. So that's good to go. And I do like to antique these, which I will, but I like to make sure I get the edges really, really well before I antique things. That's why I like using the brush tip of the markers, because it gets into all the little crevices and bumps and things. There we go. Brown for those. Oops, wrong tip. Red for this one. I'll do red on this one. Don't have to do this, but it just, to me, gives it a nice finishing touch, and because of the fussy cutting, it kind of blends in any sharp edges you may have not been able to cut smoothly. And we'll use black on the masquerade sign. Yes, still having allergies. It is hay fever season here in mid-Michigan. And hay fever, I get it in the spring and I get it in the fall. Just means allergies. Okay, so these are edged. Now, since I'm going to break out the ink, I'm bringing in my hinges. I'm only putting hinges on 1/2 of the canvas, so I only need 2. I mean, I punched these out. This was before like even an electronic and Thinlits, or an electronic machine and Thinlits and stuff. These are super old. Super, super old. So, let's edge these guys. This is my pro tip for you. Do your edging before you do your antiquing. I'm going to do the holes from the back. I'm going to get my finger messy, but I don't care. Just that I do it from the back because if I over splotch, then it's not going to get on the front. So, there we go. There we go. Okay, everybody's edged. Let's bring out our blending brushes and our archivals here. Now, I'm going to start with browns. So everything that's going to be browned, I think I'll use ground espresso for. Cat hair off of that. Now let's tap first to make sure I don't have too much. Well, that one is just a little too light for these. Let's move up to walnut stain. This is a distress ink. Oh yeah, that's better. Good old walnut stain. Tried and true. Now, these are going to be folded around the canvas, so I'm going to fold them so that I can ink those creases. Voila, we got that antiqued. And again in the crease. Now for these, I didn't obviously paint the metal, which is fine, but I am going to give them a little sheen. If I can find my gold. I'm going to use Altenew Pigment Ink in Enchanted Gold. Again, remove the cat hair. And give them a little brush of shimmer. Okay. One done. You see that? There we go. I guess I should I zoom in a little more here. There we go. Okay, sorry. I am not the best pro at videos here, but from what I'm doing, you'll get the idea, I hope. Okay, super simple. That looks good. So the hinges are done. Our boo sign has set up. Fun. So they'll be hanging on a little cord. All right, that's it for the gold. I'm going to go back to, I think I really, let's see how this looks on. Going back to the ground espresso to see how that's gonna, yeah, that's a good one for these. I mean, I'm not making them like super antiqued, I just want to take the edge off. Now this one, that was more shiny, so it was good for this little brush. This is like newspaper, so I'm gonna actually bring in my bigger brush so that I don't apply too much heavy ink in spots. This is very, very, very fragile paper. These could have come from an Ideology pack too. I have no idea. They're just so super old. No idea. So I'm going to go back to the small brush. This is kind of a shinier paper too, so I don't know about this. You know what? I'm just going to come in with a really smaller brush and hit it like in the shadow areas. To give it a little pop off of the background. And if I go into a walnut stain, I can get a bit more of a shadow. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Cool. And now this guy, let's bring in Fired Brick for this. This is a real shiny paper too. So I'm just doing the top of this one. There we go. Okay. Those are all off to the side drying. Our next elements are the hearts. These are going to be blackened out. I'm going to put the paintbrush. And they're much easier to paint while they're on their little plastic thingy. So when I'm done, because they still have a pink edge on them, I will go around and edge those with the black marker as well. So of course they don't look like much now because I'm blobbing the paint on. Okay, those are done. All right, those are the last elements to be done. Next time you see me on this little spread, I will be showing you the finished product. Cool, see you then.